you, Jeanette. Thank you, Guy. So beautiful. So we had a really, I would say, extraordinary women's luncheon on Wednesday. And it was kind of curious because we were using this book, and it's called And So We Pray. I think there's still some copies left on the back table. It's called And So We Pray, Affirmative Prayers for Real Life, as opposed to fake life, you know. Well, the thing that was so interesting is part of what we do at our luncheon, we do eat very well, thank you very much. But we also always have a booklet that we focus on. And then people pair up and they pick, you know, a chapter or a page to focus on. And they have a chance to share for 20 minutes or so. And then we come back as a group. And we find out what people picked. Well, it was really interesting to see what people picked. Here's some of the themes of the prayers that people picked. Outrage, disconnection, doubt, negativity, misunderstanding, contempt, and war. Now, these are not your normal basic unity focus of energy, right? I mean, normally we're like out there, we're peace and love, and we're all about, you know, divine order and strength, and spirituality is all that up there stuff. But this little book is, I think, really addressing, Karen, you've got your shades on. Okay, got it. As long as you don't have, I'm like, the light is blinding. So the thing about this is I feel like unity is really responding and addressing the things that are going on in people right now. And it's not like contempt just showed up, right? And misunderstanding just showed up, because those kinds of things have been going on in our relationships in our life for years. But to have all of this little bundle in this booklet, and then again giving us like a unity perspective on what this might be for us, and then a prayer of how we can anchor it in consciousness. It was a very, very powerful experience. And the thing for me that was kind of fun is that I had already decided that I wanted to bring something from my time in India about a month and a half ago, and my 5 P's for inner peace is I'm going to share with you a little breath practice that we're going to be doing. And all of a sudden I realized how this is all so intricately connected with Unity's 5 principles. So we got the 5 thing going here. And we have the 5 principles that we looked at on this week, a little bit differently, but still understanding them to mean the same. The sense that there's one presence and one power. That presence is within you, and it's in all life. That the things we think about come about. We call it sometimes the law of mind action, but it's about not just the things we think about. It's about what's going on in our feeling nature as well. It's about what's going on in our consciousness, basically. And then the 4th principle, which is prayer and meditation, are the tools that we can use in order to make shifts as we might need to, or to deal with the things that are coming up, things like doubt, misunderstanding, contempt, things that are going on either in the outer that impact us internally and sort of get our emotions dysregulated. And then the final principle basically says, hey folks, if you know all these things to be true and you're not actually applying them in your life, why bother even knowing them? You know, it's basically saying we've got all these incredible tools and principles, so let's put them into practice. So that's really what I want to do today, and I want to kind of share some other insights that I'm having fun discovering. Does anyone here, have you ever heard of Dawson Church? Have you read anything that Dawson Church? Yeah, Sue. he has a couple of books. He's a major researcher in neuroscience, quantum physics, all the things that Charles Fillmore and all these old Unity teachers and, people in India and people in China, 1,000 years, the things people have known for many, many years. He's doing scientific research, which is what our minds, we like to know that it's been proven somehow, even though we know it works in our own life. He's got some really interesting research that he's been gathering. And recently, I'm listening to one of his books called Mind to Matter. And, it sounds kind of Unity, doesn't it? Like the thoughts we think about come about. But he has an unusual way of explaining some of the science in this. And what he says is, when we think of mind, think consciousness. Don't just think thought. Think the feeling nature is part of our consciousness as well. And the mind is not the brain. And what he says is that what comes about in our consciousness literally grows the matter in our brain. We think it's going to be what we think about comes about, like we're going to have a great relationship, or we're going to get a job, or we're going to get more money. But he says it literally moves from consciousness, our feeling, thinking nature, to expand certain areas of the brain. And when we do that, it literally shifts how we show up in the world. It expands areas of the brain, or it can shrink areas of the brain. And for a lot of us, we need a little shrinkage. We need to reduce some of the mental brain activity in the parts of our brain that are about regulating our emotions. Because we get caught up emotionally, don't we? I mean, am I the only one? Yeah. If something gets going and you can't stop thinking about it. You're thinking about it at night. You're trying to figure it out. So this whole idea of mind to matter is about consciousness, which includes the feeling, the thinking nature, activating parts of our brain, which then do the healing for us, for instance. That's part of what can happen, and we know that with Myrtle Fillmore, right? Like, she just focused on the power of health and vitality in her physical body. She wasn't looking at what wasn't working. So she was building matter in her brain, in that part of her brain that actually activated the physicality of health and vitality in her body. And so this is part of this whole idea. When we learn Unity principles, how many people know about affirmations and denials? Yeah, you've heard of it, right? We've heard, we should affirm the power. We should not give any power to those things that we don't want. How's that going for you? Yeah, it's really a challenge. This is why I want to do with you today is I want to help us find some ways to kind of deregulate some of this activity that we have around things that we don't want, areas in consciousness that we don't want, those thoughts that keep running, emotions that we don't really care to nourish and grow. And one of the ways we can do that is by literally embodying the presence of peace. The physical body changes what's going on in the brain, which in fact changes how we show up in the world. And Dawson Church did a lot of different studies on this, and I'm not going to go into that. And I haven't finished the book yet either, so you'll probably hear more later. Or his new book called Bliss Brain, which I'm all about, is Bliss Brain. Who doesn't want that, right? So what I want to do is I want to give us 3 different ways to really look at this idea of peace, of inner peace. The first thing I want to do, and again, I have a handout that you can pick up in the back that has all this on it. I've got the path of peace, the 5 P's breath practice, and then Unity's 5 principles. Because for me, this is all related. It's not in your bulletin. Sorry. I don't give you stuff because otherwise, guess what's going to happen? I'm talking and you're going, yeah, well, that's kind of interesting. That reminds me of Joe Dispenza. That's what people, that's what we do. So anyway, you can look at it later, and if you don't want to listen to me now, you can put your music on or whatever. But somebody said once that preparing for your sermon was like mixing a sleeping pill. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. No. And my sleeping pill. So what I want to share with you is, first of all, and Guy had some ideas for the 5 Ps. What were some of your P ideas?
Patience.
He thought patience would be good. Anything else? It's okay. So what I want to do is I want to say there's a pathway that takes us into inner peace. And the first thing is a P, and I'm saying it's a pause. We have to be willing, when that stuff is churning, we have to be willing to put a pause on it, like a peace pause, The next thing we have to do is we have to be willing to enter into a different space, like a little bit of a sacred space. It's all going on inside of us. But I mean, even here we talked about this being a holy space. In this very room was a great song. So we take a peace pause, and then we enter into a sacred space. And we do that with an awareness. So PEA, awareness. We have an awareness of what's going on inside of us. And, it could be that kind of disturbance that's going on. And we bring some compassion to it. We kind of, maybe even a little curiosity, PEACE. A peace pause, we enter this space, we bring awareness to what's going on, and we come with a place of compassion, maybe curiosity, maybe sometimes courage we need. And then we begin to embody the experience. And the embodied experience is something that we can do. There are a couple things we can do for this. One is a practice that some people know called EFT. I know Philip, emotional freedom technique. It's a way to actually tune the body down from the activity of the emotional reactions that we have inside. And it's been apparently it's really been proven with a lot of the people coming back from war who have PTSD. They've used it very successfully because what it does is it gives the body a sense of safety and a sense of presence. The other thing that we can use, and we don't need to really learn any techniques, is our breath. We all have it, right? I'm assuming if you got here and you're planning on leaving, you have breath. The thing about our breath is it's such an extraordinary tool. And this is where I want to basically give you this teaching that I learned in India. And we'll go, for our meditation, we'll go through a process of it. But essentially, the 5 Ps of this breath practice include first a pause. The first thing is about we take a pause. Sometimes that's the hardest thing, isn't it? Because we're often running and we forget that we have this capacity with the breath. Oh, we take a pause. The next thing we do is we honor the place we're in. Now, when I do this at home, I have one place where I always do my meditation. Just one spot in my house. I feel like it's probably got like golden, fluffy energy there because I always sit in the same spot. But where we are today, we're honoring the place that we're in. We're honoring the place of our body. So the first P is taking the pause, and the second is the place that you're in. The third is our posture. And people don't normally, I don't tell you in our meditation, now sit up straight, do I? But there's a big difference in how the breath moves through the body when your spine is straight, as opposed to the couch slouch thing that, where you kind of tuck your hips under. So pause, feel that sense of the place you're in as a holy place. feel the position of your body and really feeling kind of a sense of erect, like ease, but at the same time really straight. The third thing is to notice the path of your breath. You know, we can either breathe in and out through the mouth or through the nose. And when we breathe in, sometimes we get that breath is just up here, that kind of upper body breath. But the idea of bringing the breath all the way down into the belly and sometimes holding it, either holding the breath in or exhaling and holding out with the breath, that whole idea of the path, is it coming through my nose and how far into the body, into the lungs, expanding the chest, is it going? So we've got first a pause, then we've got the place that we're in, then we've got the posture of the body, then we have a path. Is it nose, is it mouth? And I'll guide you later. And finally, it's the pace. And this is a really important part of the breath practice, to bring ourselves into a place of inner peace. The best way we can slow things down in the physical body is by slowing down our exhalation. So when we do a breath practice and we inhale through the nose, we might inhale for 3, hold for 3, and exhale through the nose for the count of 6. What happens when we do that, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, moves us out of fight or flight. We move into basically what they call rest and digest. All that activity of the limbic system, the amygdala that's, trying to figure things out, it gets calmed down. It activates the vagus nerve. It kind of slows things down. It brings nitric oxide into the body. There's a lot of things that happen when we literally slow down our exhalation. Such a simple thing. So these are these 5 Ps that we're going to be going through in a meditation in just a minute. And the thing I want to really connect here with us is that Unity's principles, we can think about Unity's principles and we can say, oh, I know that, the one presence, the one power, right? Oh, I know that I'm a child of God and but sometimes we're not thinking that those people out there are children of God, right? We have other opinions about who they are. But to be able to move into an awareness that, yes, compassion can open up. And maybe there's, like you spoke of that in our beautiful prayer, Leona. We could see a glimmer of a child of God in somebody that we're feeling angry or upset with. So we have this opportunity when we go into these more quiet places inside of our being, when we've calmed ourselves down, we have an opportunity to really anchor in these 5 principles of the one presence and the one power. The activity, God is all there is, present and everywhere. Human beings are one with God and inherently good. That one, we might want to argue, but if we keep breathing, coming back to our peaceful place, we'll say, well, no, maybe that's a possibility. My thoughts and feelings have power to create my experience. This is where our capacity to slow down the breath and to literally embody a place of peace, it will impact certain parts of the brain. If we're out there kind of charged up on something, we're reacting to something, we are activating and building more mass in that part of the brain. We're building matter in the part of the brain that wants to fight. But if we can bring ourselves into an embodied place of peace, then when we speak an affirmation or we hold a vision or an intention for what it is we want to create, not only for ourselves but for the world, we're doing it from a much different state of consciousness. And that aspect inside the brain that your mind has said, oh, I'm a peacemaker. I want to see peace in our world. It's coming from a much different place. So it's really powerful to understand that when Charles and Myrtle Fillmore created the unity movement, which was over 100 years ago, and all the New Thought teachers who really brought forth these teachings, the ancient wisdom, they brought not only the intellectual understanding, but they also brought these very embodied teachings. And for me, having been to India, lots of times, the embodied teachings are the things that are always held and so very strong there. And I think we in the West kind of get caught in the intellect part of it. But what they're learning now in the science, it's a combination of the two. We need to embody this place of peacefulness in and physically do it in the body, because that literally impacts our brain. That feeling nature that has a sense of calm peace is activating parts of the brain that are going to be creating what it is that we're calling forth in our thought form, what it is we want, what our intention is. So I love this kind of bringing more of the things that we can go, oh, I know that, right? Because we think we know everything because we're Unity students and we think we're so smart. But 20 years ago, this was not the science. People were not talking about this stuff. But now it's everywhere and everybody's doing it. They're doing studies on mindfulness. I read this really interesting study that Dawson Church was talking about. This man, he's Australian. He's an astrophysicist and a journalist. Totally doesn't believe in any of the mind-body stuff. So he decided he would do meditation for 2 months. And they measured all his brain activity in all the different areas. And the part of the brain that is emotionally regulates our emotions, that part of the brain grew by 22% in 2 weeks from meditating. It's like road rage or peace and calm. Like, oh, this person must be really in a hurry, instead of like keeping me from whatever. So it's really, really powerful. And we've got the tools, we've got the insight, and Unity's been giving us this for over 100 years, prayer and meditation. So we're going to go into a meditation now. And just a reminder, I have this handout for you. It's back on the table with the green cloth. And there's also a piece, I don't have the one with the back. There's a piece that I typed up from the booklet. Well, there's the booklet. That talks about how important it is for us to move through these 5 unity principles before we take action, or before maybe what it is that we're guided through meditation to not take action. Maybe we're not supposed to do anything, and for us to be able to use these tools of prayer and meditation in order to receive the kind of guidance that's available to us, it's so powerful. So I really encourage you to pick this up and enjoy these readings. So thank you, Guy. Can we turn some lights out? So you could take it and put stuff aside. It's always good to just relax more deeply in the body. So we're going to begin just with that sacred pause, a pause for peace. Think of it as a sacred stopping. I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes, or have a soft gaze if you don't want to close your eyes completely. And just let this moment be enough. And become aware of the place you are in, where you're seated. Feel this room as a sacred container, a holy spot, being held by all of us and held by the divine. You might feel the chair, also the ground that's supporting you on your feet. And now just gently adjust your posture so that you're sitting with maybe a little more upright, relaxing shoulders. No tension, just a nice tall spine, but not rigid. A posture of ease and comfort. And now the path, we're going to bring awareness to the path of our breath. And today we're going to be breathing in and out through the nose. And I'll invite you to bring the breath down as deeply into the belly as you are comfortable. And just take a moment now, breathing in and feeling the breath go down and exhaling through the nose. And we're going to do a special pace with our breath. We're going to breathe in to the count of 3. We're going to hold to the count of 3, and then we're going to exhale to the count of 6. So I'm going to invite you to do that with me now, taking in a deep breath, inhaling 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, holding 1, 2, 3, exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now just find your own rhythm. A couple of rounds of this practice, inhaling 3 and holding 3 and exhaling 6. And now gently release any counting of the breath and let the breath just return to your natural rhythm. And notice the body and the space around you, keeping your eyes closed. There's nothing you need to do. Just rest and awareness and presence. Connecting in with the divine, the God presence of all that is, present everywhere within each one of us. And knowing the power of our thoughts and feelings. Come into this place and come into an experience of living this truth, not from any place of reaction or urgency, but from a place of spiritual alignment, a peaceful place of alignment with the living spirit of truth, the living spirit of love. And you could gently bring into your awareness a situation in your life, maybe something where there's been some tension or uncertainty or a question that you have. And no need to analyze it, just simply stay present. And from this place of quiet, holy peace, ask within gently, what is mine to do or not do? There's nothing to figure out. You're not trying to solve a problem. You're just simply listening from this peaceful place. And perhaps something arises, a feeling, a knowing, a soft clarity, an insight. Or perhaps nothing comes, and that too is guidance. You might gently affirm, the wisdom within me, I trust. I'm willing to be guided. And remembering that sometimes living the truth means that we speak or we act. And sometimes it means we step forward. And other times it's about waiting. It's about softening and letting go. And both are sacred. So once again, feel into the breath. Feel the body supported. Feel the quiet within. And gently affirm, I live from a place of peace. I live from a place of peace. And I'm guided in all that I do and all that I release. And gently begin to bring your awareness back to this room, carrying that stillness within. Feeling a sense of clarity in this peace. And as you're ready, take a few deep breaths, and you can gently once again open your eyes and come back. Feeling your feet on the floor. The seat you're seated in is a sacred place.